Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash that like button on this video like it's a pre-transition Ellen page, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number one, this trans woman is sick and tired of biological women saying it's easy for all women to have sex. That they could just walk into a bar or go on a dating app and have someone date them and have sex with them within a half an hour. This trans individual says that they've been trying for 3 years and still can't get sex. Imagine that. Attractive men with a choice will rather pick a partner that was born a woman. Most of them can't pass, and even if they do, it's only the Thai ladyboys that can. Moving on, this teacher's aide was arrested after smashing with a 16-year-old student. Clearly, all the mandatory college re-education courses aren't working to teach women not to grape. Sounds to me like the guy she got together with has some serious game if it only took him 2 weeks to beg her. I hope she gave him an A for effort when she was grading him. Where were these types of teaching assistants and teachers while I was growing up? Number 3, imagine what would happen if these two got married. You know that these two would make the perfect political power couple and the entertainment value would be awesome. You just know that their offspring would end up becoming communist pimps that were grandmasters at checkers. But luckily Tate is going his own way and too smart to get married. On top of that, he doesn't live with women either. No cohabitation and no marriage. Those are the only two MGTOW rules. Up next, the dating app Grindr is linked to dozens of child abuse cases, some with boys as young as 12. And that's probably what the plus in LGBTQ plus means. Then again, I could have sworn that the plus was there for HIV positive. They probably have a flag for this sort of evil behavior as well. Are people really surprised this is happening? Also, I'll give you one guess as to who the owner of Grindr is, and he would just argue that they're maps and that you shouldn't be a bigot. Number 5, meanwhile in the UK they're making this sort of behavior possible, and even punishing people who use the term Asian grooming gangs as being Islamophobic. On top of that, they took thousands of PDF files and rapists off sex offender registries. People in the UK have gone insane, and would rather be raped rather than be seen as being racist. Let me guess, it was mostly Muslims that were removed from the sex offender registry and given a second chance. Moving on, and speaking of racism, here are the mugshots of the fire looters during the LA fires. People were saying that we should lock them up and throw away the key. I think they deserve a second chance because don't these guys just look like future doctors and engineers to you? There were even rumors that there were criminals that set the fires in the first place to prompt evacuation so they could go into the evacuation zones and loot those houses. Where are the rooftop Koreans when you really need them? Number 7, why is it that divorced men over the age of 50 pick between the Philippines and Thailand to find women? Turd-flinging Monkey once said that Thailand is for men looking for a woman with a penis, who doesn't look like an 80s glam rocker. If you want a real woman to marry, then go to the Philippines where she bleeds them dry while they support her and her entire extended family. Both choices are bad ones. Up next, this woman spends $17,000 to have her ribs removed for a smaller waist, and now she's having them made into a crown. I bet the reason she needed a thinner waist was so she could fit a Starbucks apron on. I thought this woman was just mentally ill until I read the part about this individual being a transformer. So now the mental illness makes perfect sense. Ribs protect the internal organs. This person is one punch away from total organ failure. Number 9, Darius says that if women weren't sexually attractive, then men wouldn't bother talking to them, because they're boring and men are more fun to talk to. I would generally agree that this is pretty much true. Most women don't actually bring anything interesting with regards to conversation because they're usually the audience and not the show. Most men prefer a boring and quiet woman over an arrogant career woman that's a so-called interesting boss babe any day of the week. Moving on, here's someone that's totally delusional. Darnick says that the original ancient Egyptians were black and that Arabs are just colonizers. But when will the we was kings argument finally get put to pasture? We dug up the mummies, sequenced their DNA, and it's a match to populations in Turkey, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, and Syria today. No, ancient Egypt was not the Cosby Show with pyramids. Next thing you know, they'll say that Lord of the Rings was also black culture. Number 11, Ben Shapiro dedicated an entire show telling the mainstream right to stop associating with Andrew Tate. Looks like somebody doesn't like the competition and is worried about losing his audience. Just wait until Benny Boy realizes that a significant portion of the male population are not concerned with stupid things like the left and the right. Besides, the Daily Wire YouTube channel has been dying for quite some time now. Up next, this woman has horrible misery as her chesticles began growing at a young age of 8 and haven't stopped since. But would you just look at her boyfriend's face? There certainly isn't pain in his eyes. He's living the good life now until they eventually droop down, pointing at the floor like they're looking for quarters. I also get the sneaky suspicion that they run a dairy farm. She says that Bo here has made her feel beautiful. Too bad she has a butterface. Number 13 looks like Zuck is going all in on fascism as he orders the removal of tampon dispensers from the men's bathrooms at the Met offices. Someone says, so that means he's going to go in all on fascism. Let me get this straight. Fascism is when men's bathrooms don't have tampons. Zuck is a turncoat. He will believe in whatever ideology he has to in order to make money. Then again, maybe it's just the magic of him taking testosterone replacement therapy, and that's why he's doing it. But looks like I spoke too soon. He looks like a lesbian phys ed teacher in this particular picture. Moving on, this woman visited a psychic who told her that she was going to die if she didn't lose weight. This is a great strategy to get women to lose that weight. They tend to believe in astrology and psychics more than they believe in science. Her doctor probably told her the same thing several times, but she ignored him. But when the psychic told her, that's when it must be true. You can cuddle with her now and use the excess skin as a snuggie. Whatever works. Number 15 gamers accuse Elon Musk of cheating at popular video games by allegedly hiring better users to play for him. Looks like we found the real reason that Elon needs H-1B visas. One of the top things you learn in management is delegation. So it's almost certain that he's not playing those games himself. He posts interesting things on X once or twice every hour. You just know that he's got a team of people finding things for him to post. I spend 2 hours a day on that platform to post the same amounts. Up next, this woman is desperate for your attention and says that she's not some sexy nerd because of her glasses, but that she's just a slut who can't see. Looks like honesty will get her far in life. But I think this is a really old one because you just look at how ancient that phone looks. She's not a sexy nerd, just a blind slut. Gentlemen, you need to line up and give her your attention and possibly pension. She's probably blind because of all the male Kahlua that fell into her eyes. Number 17, a robber broke into a hairdresser's store demanding money. So she beat him up and used him as a sex slave for a couple of days. Olga's a karate expert, and she tied him up in the buff and fed him nothing but Viagra. When the authorities found out, she said, yeah, I had sex with him a couple times, but hey, I bought him a new pair of jeans. Because that's supposed to make up for it or something. They were both arrested. If we saw a picture of the assailant, he probably looked like an ancient Greek god. Moving on, people are only now realizing why McDonald's plays classical music after 5 p.m. They do it to annoy people so they don't loiter in the restaurants. This reminds me of when I was a teenager and I'd go to strip malls for lunch, and they were all playing annoying classical music, so we teenagers would leave as quickly as possible. Looks like Mickey D's discovered N kryptonite. I'm also a big fan of weaponizing classical music. My favorite time this was done was in the film Clockwork Orange. Number 19, Neil Gaiman faces sexual assault charges after he raped his son's nanny in the outdoor bathtub. He's just another male feminist or wolf in sheep's clothing. I really liked the Sandman comic until he made the show and changed the race of death. If he had brought in someone like Jenna Ortega, it would have been a hell of a lot better, and a lot more eyeballs would have seen it as well as making more money. I'm pretty sure that Stephen King will do something like this next. Up next, a woman in France was scammed out of 830,000 euros after believing she was in a relationship with Brad Pitt. Here are the photos sent to her to convince her that they were together. The scammer said that his divorce with Angelina made him unable to access his financial resources. So he borrowed this money from his so-called online fiancé and sent the money to a friend in Turkey because he couldn't use bank accounts. How do scammers find these types of gullible women? I'm asking for a friend in a hospital. Number 21, Canadian newspapers are just gaslighting us with this one, saying maybe Canadians were the problem and not Trudeau. The media always defends the establishment. That's their job. I voted for him the first time thinking he was a classical liberal, but he just ended up turning into a champagne socialist. You can sure bet that I didn't vote for him the second or third time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Moving on, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively knew about Hugh Jackman's rumored affair and kept it from his wife. I wonder, was that affair with Ryan? because I definitely felt the chemistry between them while watching Deadpool and Wolverine. He's involved with Sutton Foster now, and I think the real story here is he's with a woman and not a man. For the longest time, everyone thought he liked schlongs. Number 23, it was discovered a while back that half the misogynistic tweets out there were actually sent by women. Women sabotaging men and then blaming us for it. Looks like their demand for bigotry outweighs the supply. But only half of them, though. That seems way too low and like rookie numbers. Don't you just love it when women hurt other women, but then blame men for it? It's absolutely classic. Up next, this mother of two dog groomer is jailed after trying to blackmail an innocent man as a PDF file. And she probably won't even spend all that much time in jail either. I'm also curious what type of grooming she was doing to dogs. These days with the dog pill, you never know for sure what they're up to. And they keep telling us that we need to believe all women. I believe zero women until the evidence shows that they can be believed. Number 25 and the last one, Luca says that women deal with periods, pregnancy, and menopause, and what do men have to deal with? Someone gets back to him and says, we have to deal with women. Well, look on the bright side. At least we weren't women dealing with other women. Of course, now you know what Luca's going to do. She's going to ban him from her Twitter or X page because that's just what women like her do. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links below. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.